Hi and welcome to our evening Facebook Live. It is Thursday the 21st of July and my name's Jenny McCormack and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire in the UK. Sorry, I'm just moving everything I think so I can actually sit at my table. So yesterday, if you caught us live excuse me, or on catch up, you will have seen me make this sweet little card using the little dancing hippo from the stamp set Hippos. It's got three fun little characters. One is just sort of, well, it could be doing almost anything, dancing or playing. There's a little ballerina on point, and then there's a little hippo with a flower, holding a flower. And the one that I did yesterday just featured a straightforward stamped image. I then coloured it in with the crumb cake marker pens, and I also stamped the envelope. And then this has got a layer of polished pink behind, which matches the little skirt. So today I'm going to do another simple card. I have had arrived today my delivery, and in the delivery I have the coordinating hippo dies. Now I'm not going to use all of them this evening, but apart from the fact that they cut out the hippos themselves, we also have a little boat, we have some water splashes, we have a snorkel and a mask, we have a cute little umbrella, some flowers, some well, this could be anything. These could be waves, or they could be grass or soil or ground. And then we've got glasses, a party hat, and we've got some flowers, a little propeller for the boat, and a tiny little like life-saving float. Couldn't think of the word. And some little hearts and flowers. So I'm just going to keep this fairly simple for this evening, because I have to say I'm absolutely shattered today. Obviously still recovering from COVID. I thought I was, well, I'm clear of COVID. My tests were negative, but suddenly gone really tired. So I'm just going to keep this short and sweet. I'm going to stamp the hippo here, and then die cut a few elements and just dress the hippo up. So I'm going to keep it simple. If I'm feeling better tomorrow, I may do an additional live tomorrow evening to make up the fact that I'm only going to be here a short period of time. Okay, so let us get cracking. So I have got a piece of white card that's going to be my note card. And I'm going to stamp my hippo onto an odd piece of white card. So just bear with me a minute. Just making sure I was where I should have been, not on my personal timeline. Okay, so I'm just going to trim this down. I'm going to trim this to 3 inches because that is the width that I want for my card, and 4.5. So I'm going to cut 2 of those, and then I'm going to stamp on this off-cut piece here. So we are normally here on a Thursday evening. Can't believe I'm at Thursday already. And I haven't got my mobile phone here. So if you're commenting and I haven't responded, that's because I can't see your messages. Fingers crossed, Facebook will pop them up on my screen at some point. Let's start with a basic grey. and I'm going to stamp this one here. I've got two basic greys. I just need the stamp, which is this one. And if you're watching yesterday, Fran, who was watching, suggested a different way to add the labels to my stamp, so I gave that a go, and that was very successful. So thank you to Fran. Okay, so there's our cute little hippo, and what I'm going to do is die cut a few bits and pieces and then put it together. So I am going to keep it fairly straightforward. I have picked out a few pieces of card in preparation. So excuse me, my little boat is going to be in this piece of Coastal Cabana. Just got an offcut here, so I'm just going to cut that down. If I could find my scissors, be even better. There we go. So I've got my mini cut and emboss machine. There we go. So I'm just going to cut out this little bit here, and this little boat has got some markings in it. And then from the red, I'm going to cut out the mask and the snorkel. So do that one and that one, and then we've got a little propeller for the boat. We've got a little life-saving ring. Let's cut that out of the red and see. And then I've got you've got these little water splashes. Okay, so let's grab our mini machine and give it a go. So I hope if you're watching you've had a reasonable day. Oh, we've got these waves here as well. It's certainly much cooler for us here in the UK, or certainly where we are. It's much more pleasant, and the skies were very threatening, but we didn't have any rain, or not yet I should say. Okay, so that's my two layers there. So let's pop the boat on. And then I only need a little bit, so I'm just going to cut this red piece down. And obviously you could put some self-adhesive sheet behind these. I'm just going to cut those out as is. See what they look like. I'm hoping not to knock the camera too much. Okay, let's have a look and see. So we've got this cute little let's put it on here so you can see it. Life belt. We've got the mask, and the snorkel. Now there's also, as I say, there's an umbrella and there's a set of glasses, as well as party hats and the like. That's those three. This is our little boat. Like so. Okay. Just put that down to one side. And those are those elements. So what I'm going to do just quickly is colour this in, but I may have see, we could have him actually in the boat like that, couldn't we? Or her, with the mask and the snorkel. They tend to go together, don't they, the mask and the snorkel? Like so. Like that. And I could add some splashes. We've also got the little life vest that we could add on to the boat. Okay, so let's do just a little bit of colouring here, and again I'm just going to use what I used yesterday, and that is light and dark crumb cake and a little bit of pink for the face, so I'm going to use my petal pink. So I'm just going to start with that first. Like that. In the ears. As I say, I'm going to put this one, I'm going to die cut the hippo out and have them in the boat itself, I think. In the samples, let's have a look and see what sample they have. Yeah. So in the sample here, they've got the little boat, and then they've got the waves. So they've cut 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5, 6, 7 sets of waves, which is quite cute. And then they've used the stick here from the umbrella, and then a little triangle for the sentiment, and they put sunglasses on. It's way cute. And then this one here is in a bathtub, has got the snorkel and the glasses on, and you can see the bits of water. So let's just do this quick bit of colouring, and that is going to be it. Excuse me. So I'm going to colour it and die cut it. This is the light crumb cake. Just do this over the back. And hippos are sort of grey brown, almost a purple sometimes, aren't they? Let's just do top part like so. So I hope if you're watching you've had a good day, and we're round to Friday tomorrow. Goodness me, that all happened far too quickly. So this is light petal pink. So and I don't need to go very far down because he's going to be sat in the boat. So just a little bit further. There we go. Okay, just going to use a small amount of ding dink darker crumb cake, just where this edge would be. That. There we go. Just want to blend that in a little bit more. There we go. So I can't see any comments, so I really do apologise if you're commenting or asking me questions. I haven't got my phone right in front of me, but obviously after the event I will look back through. It is a bit frustrating that the comments only come up as you re-watch the video, so I can't just skip through to the end and see the comments, which is unfortunate. But there we go. Okay, let's just use that little bit of colour lifter on that centre panel. Like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to die cut those excuse me, that C piece to make it look like waves. I think you could also make them look like mountains, things like that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm not worrying about the bit at the bottom because that's going to be covered up with our die cut little boat that we've cut here. So let's grab, just want a little bit of blue for the sea. I've got a bit of Orchid Oasis here, but it's attached, so just grab that. There we go, and I might use this for the backing, so I'm going to cut this at the same time. So this is going to measure 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. That's going to be our layer, and then we want some waves. So I'm just going to cut some pieces for that. And then this is the die for the waves, so it just cuts on one side. So my plan is to put this in like so, and let's grab the die for that one. There we go. And I might also do those little bits of water. So let's bring this back in. Okay, so I'm sorry if this is, you're not going to see all of this go through, but there's that one there, and let's cut the hippo out first. Looking to see if I've got some tape to hand, which I have, just so I can keep that in place while I pop it through, let's add that little bit of wave detail. And the water. Okay, just pop that through. Oops. Hi Fran, thanks for joining us. Just having a play with the hippo dies as mine arrived literally this afternoon. So just a quick short and sweet card to see what I can do with it. So there's my water splashes here. I can see those going everywhere. There we are. That's the other one. And so here's the water, like so. So I'm going to cut a couple of those. Put these out of the way. Like that. Put some more little splashes in. There we go. We are. And then there's another bit of water. So what I can do is build this up at different heights and maybe have the boat in the middle, like so. So what I'm going to do is do another piece, and I'm going to start this one with the die a bit further up so I get a different part of the die. Oops, too far up. Otherwise you've got the same bit repeated each time. So I've started it further over and then I can finish it up. So there's that one, and that one. I think that'll probably do because we've only got a small note card that we're playing with. Okay, make sure this is the right piece. Right, let's do a bit of putting together. So I can have this going right the way across for my little bits of sea. Like that. So I think what I'm going to do is start with that one and add that, and then I'm going to put my boat in there and then put this layer on top, if that makes any sense. Making sure I've got enough space for my hippo at the top. Okay, So, and then I can always add more C at the bottom if I need to. That's my plan. Let's move this out of the way. Okay, so let's lay this down. Like so. And I'm going to pop that one up on dimensionals and then pop the front one up on 2 sets of dimensionals. Is my plan. Okay, so and I'll trim this off after. I'm not cutting it to size to start with. It's got the wrong side of the dimensional on it. 2, 3. So, and then this one down here. So what I'm going to do is put a layer right at the very bottom of that, so that it doesn't interfere with the other image. So what I'm going to do is pull this piece off and put it right across the bottom like that. And I actually want that double height. So pull that one. Put my glasses off so I can see roughly what I'm doing. There we go. Just going to trim this little bit off for the minute. So that's the base. So now I've got 3 layers of waves. This one is flat, this one has got 1 layer of dimensionals, and this has got 2. And I might put another piece of C back in here. And you could use this offcut as well, if I needed to. I could put the offcut underneath there as well. Okay, let's tidy these edges up, and I'm just going to do that by using the scissors on the side. Like that. And I'm right-handed, so I've turned it over and using the scissor on the right hand side, but keeping the blade against the card where I can. Okay, so now my boat is going to go in. Maybe I'll put my boat, let's see, So I'll put it in here. Yep, that definitely works in there, doesn't it? So I'm going to pop the boat down flat, but I'm only going to put glue at the very bottom so I can tuck my little hippo in, like so. Like that. And here is my hippo. Now I'm going to trim off the bit around the bottom because I don't need that. Like that. There we go. Tuck that one in. Now if I've got blending brush, I could certainly add in some sky detail. Let's add the mask and the snorkel. I'm just going to put a tiny amount of glue on there, and so I'm just going to put it on the edge of a block and then pick up a scrap of paper and just pop it on like so. There's that. Same with this one. Turning it over, just picking up literally a scrap of card. To apply it to that. There we go. Now my little life belt could go on the boat or in the water. And then I've got my little splashes here. That I'm going to add in. Cute. Very sweet. So I do need to add another piece across the bottom. And let's have a look. I think that works quite nicely on there. Let's see if there's a better place for it other than on the boat. Well, let's stick with it there, I think. Like so. And then my little splashes, they're very cute, aren't they? I'm just going to add some dots to here. So if you still have the otters, they would be quite fun to have the otters in the water, for example, wouldn't they? Let's put another splash up here, I think. So just a tiny amount. Go. Cute. So I am going to add a bit across the bottom. I want to add just a little bit of sky to give it a bit of interest and a sentiment, and we're done. Just about made it in one piece. So let's grab a blue ink pad. One. Balmy blue. Testing it out first. It's fine. Just to add that little bit of sky detail. And I'm trying to think of a good sentiment that I could add that would work with this. I have in mind "You're awesome" with an OAR, but there isn't an "or" here, is there, anyway? We've got "You're so hip," we've got "You really are the best," "Love you a ton" are the sentiments with the set, but I could use the alphabet again. There we go. Hopefully you can see that all right. I might need to put a little bit of darkness over the eye so you can see the eye in a bit more detail. And I'm just going to add a little strip of blue. Now I did cut out Orchid Oasis to go behind, but I think it needs to be a different colour. So, ooh, not going to be enough of that. Find another piece in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to put another piece across the bottom. Let's just cut that like so. And just going to do a wavy line. So, and what I could have done with these as well was take a darker blue for the edges and just make those stand out a little more. So I'm just going to do that with this Starry Sky ink. Pick that up. And then just running it over this edge that I've created. So that you can see it's got that, it's a bit more distinctive. This has got some embossing on it already, so it doesn't get lost altogether, but I think it would have looked better if I'd done the edging as well. Okay, so I'm going to attach that onto there and then find a different colour. Maybe I'll use red for the base. So I'm just going to put that on like so, and I'll trim that in a second. And so I just want a sentiment to put on the top. Let's see if I've got something here this would do. You've got this, maybe? So this is another Sale-A-Bration set. Just do hay. Oops implies that somebody's fallen off the boat, doesn't it? Okay, let's trim this edge down like that. And cut that across the bottom. If that will work. It's got two heights of dimensional, so it's going to be a struggle to find it. Oh, it's done it. Okay, so all that I need now is to find a layer and my note card. Right, so here's my note card, and I want a layer to go behind it. Let's see if I've got one. So I'm going to pick up either the red or the Coastal Cabana, I think. Maybe the red. Oh yes, went too far. That's a good one. Yes, I quite like that. Yes, whoops. I think that works with the red. It brings it all in together. So yes, whoops. see if that fits. Good idea, Fran. That'll work. Or I could put it in the middle. Okay, let's layer this up. It feels better in the middle, I have to say. Let me know what you think. There we are. And there. Okay, so there we are on our card, and all I've got to decide is whether I do, I could do it at an angle, oops, like that, or stamp it and cut it out on the bottom. Right, just going to look for a black pen. Go. What do we think? I can't quite decide. Just going to stamp it on a small piece and then decide. Oh, I wonder if I got a small die cut. Hold on. I did have one here. It's too small. That's the one I'm looking for. Meant to be. Fits that perfectly. Let's just try that out. I've not used this stamp before, so we need to ink it up and just make sure that it is working all right. Yep, seems to be okay. It's obviously a well-used ink pad because it's quite light. Okay, glasses off. Let's just try it on here. I know I've got ink seemingly everywhere. Hopefully. There we go. Oops. Good call, Fran. Thank you. Oh, looking good. That's a good idea. Yes. Woohoo and amazing. Yes, good looking and looking good. Yes. Because it's not an expression I would use. I mean, obviously it comes from hey, good looking. But yeah, looking good would definitely work. clever. Okay, so the question is, I'm going to pop it down at the bottom, which feels most balanced there, I have to say, because up here, now it's on a die cut, it's a bit big. That would work quite nicely as a flag on the boat, so you can have a flagpole with that on it. But I think I'm just going to pop it on there, so it's not too big for the card. So those two layers there are flat, so I think I'm going to do that flat because I've got a few layers going on of dimensionals. And just have that fairly centered, like so. There we go. Sweet. Could be oops because his lifeline is in the water. Maybe. Anyway, a little bit of fun. I really enjoyed that. So thank you so much for joining me. Sorry I'm not at 100%. Obviously COVID's taken more out of me than I thought. So I may be back tomorrow, see how I go. I have got coffee and card in the afternoon tomorrow, and so we may be doing the hippos, or I may leave those for another day when I can cut out a whole bunch of die cuts and my ladies and gents can have fun decorating the hippos with whatever elements they want. So in the die set, as I said, there is the snorkel and the things there, the mask, there's glasses, there's an umbrella, there's a boat, there's a bathtub, there's a little propeller for the boat which I could add in, and what else is there? There's some assorted flowers and hearts, and a party hat, and as I said, the glasses. So I might do a little propeller and pop that on the end of the boat. Might cut that out in silver. So those dies are available for a £45 spend. So for £90 you can get both the hippos and the dies free of charge. So thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to catching up with you again really soon. I hope you enjoyed it. Do take care, look after yourselves and your loved ones. Oh, thank you, Fran. Yeah, just tested positive at the weekend, and then tested negative yesterday and today. So, but I didn't realise quite how tired I was going to be. But never mind. We're all good. That's the main thing. So you take care, and I look forward to catching up with everybody real soon. Bye for now. Thanks for watching.